Beats Planet.
Yo. Want some chicken to go? It's Voch Lombardi. We back like bra straps. Wait a minute. Let me make sure everything's everything. Let me hit that property button. All right, we cool right there. So cool. Look, I know a lot of people, put a lot of stock into, being the first comment or whatever. Some people care nothing about being the first comment or whatever. But just in case you care about being the first comment or whatever, my man Festerson, young Pro Bowler in the making. Young man sent me some of his film before, but that's nothing new because me and him are on a kind of sort of quasi first name basis. So I've watched his film before. He's a young little animal, man. So, he's going to do big things with this sport one day. You can put the money on that. I'm saying it right now. But he was the first one in the chat box. Let me see who else up in here. Let me lowercase that and move this out the way and shimmy y'all right here. I know y'all can hear me, but I sound a little funny on my end, but it's cool though. Let me click that button right here. Tell me if y'all can hear me, man. Tell me if y'all can hear me. Young Festerson, he said I'm a real one. Last show we said we was going to talk about MVP, and this show you see on the title screen, we talking about MVP. So, Festerson, you are absolutely right, sir. You are first. Fire Jason Garrett is in the building. I feel like he been tweeting me all day about firing Jason Garrett. That's his Twitter name and everything. He means it. So, Indigo Film, what's happening? Jay Tizzle, Dragon Philly. Feston says congrats on 13,000 subs. Hey, diddly. All right, and we just see just a bunch of extra stuff. Somebody says, what's this beat called? The beat was actually created for me. It was an original beat by my man Sushi817. You may see him in some of these chat boxes. He shows up on a lot of the Cowboys videos, and he said, "Yo, coach, I got some instrumentals for you. Want to use them?" I say, "Man, what?" I say, "What?" Cool ass Drake up in here. What's up, man? Cullen Klein's up in here. Nick G's up in here. Greg Castillo's up in here. Who else up in here? Excited to say Zeke is the real MVP. Hey man, which one? What you want me to say? Lieutenant Dan's up in here. What's up, bro? Voch, can you do a film on the? I mean, come on, man. I do Cowboys film every week, man. Keep up. Devin in here. Demond in here. Rafael Lopez. What's happening, brother? Drew Brees for MVP. That's interesting. That's 4 names I see so far. JD's up in here. What's good? And Jake from State Farm's up in here. All right, cool. Here we go. We got Jay up here. What's up, Jay? We got Rex up here. Cool. Got Rex up here. Lieutenant Dan say Alabama lost today. Dilly. My man. So peep this out, y'all. There's a couple ways we can do this. How many people I got watching? All right, cool. That's a cool little number. Cool. Listen, y'all. Today, well, let me start by saying last week's stream, or the last stream we did, someone called in and they had questions about the MVP race. I've since then had a Facebook tag from a man, Adam Hall. He'll come plug his podcast and all that at some point. So, whenever he gets here, he has some numbers and he has some analytics. I'm not a number or an analytics guy, but when he gets here, he has some thoughts about the MVP race. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk MVP. Now, y'all know the best way to get in touch with the show. Greg Castillo says the MVP married Future's baby mama. Hysterical. The best way to get in touch with the show to make your point known, you got to call in 515-739-1285. The access code is 309-104. I acknowledge those before I acknowledge anything. You know what I'm saying? I acknowledge the calls first, but then I acknowledge the calls from the platinum callers first. You know what I mean? So if you happen to be a platinum caller, put your word in. Put your word in and I'm gonna get right to you. Another way to get in touch with the show is through Snapchat. Okay, now listen, don't be silly and go on Snapchat and leave some text. Just leave a message for me to read, because you could do that in the chat box. You know what I mean? If you're gonna go on Snapchat, put some audio up there. Give me make a video for me and just talk through the video. You ain't gotta be cute and show yourself. Just put the camera down, but just talk through it, and I'll put the phone up to the mic and we'll get your response from there. You know what I mean? So that's phone. That's Snapchat / Voch Lombardi. Go find me on there. We got super chats active today. At some point, I'm probably gonna get one of my guys on the phone. It might be Lieutenant Dan Cool as Drake. I actually blocked Cullen Klein from Snapchat because he was bothering me at the wrong time, so I had to block him. But I don't know if Voch can say anyone from the Eagles can be the MVP. I don't know what y'all take me for, man. But yeah, but then we also can resort to the chat box, okay? But I can't guarantee that I'm gonna catch the chat box every time, you know what I mean? Because it ain't how it used to be. How it used to be, I had 5 people in the chat box, and and I could just easily, you know what I mean, just keep in touch with y'all. But we got a couple more people in the chat box, and it moves a lot quicker than it normally does. All right. So the numbers on the screen if you need it. Snapchat Voch Lombardi, super chat if you want to, then chat box after that. Cool. Got that out the way. I'm telling y'all, man, at some point I'm gonna have like sponsors and shit, you know what I mean? And one day I'm gonna have to fill up this whole talking space with like sponsors and stuff, and I'm gonna be getting paid. I'm gonna be acting brand new in Hollywood and all that type of stuff. But anyway, the MVP race. I don't think it's a very confusing type of situation. I mean, I don't think there's this big 10-man race. As I take a sip of the Happy Juice H2O, by the way, I don't think there's this big debate, going on or whatever. I mean, it's Carson Wentz, it's Tom Brady. If you want to come in and make a case for Drew Brees, I mean, sure, make a case for Drew Brees. If you can make a case for Jared Goff with the 7-3 Rams, you want to come in and make that case. I'm not mad for whatever case y'all make. I'll probably make my case a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, Cullen Klein says, do I want to unblock you from Snapchat? No. He was bothering me at the wrong time. We got a call, though. So, let me make sure my sounds are good. He's a platinum caller, too. I already see who this is. Let me get all my levels good. Jay, the Eagles fan from Arizona, a.k.a. Conrad Tokyo. What's up, man?
What's good, Voch? How you doing, bro?
The rapper eater. Holding it down for the Doski Woski, bro. Dilly dilly. What you got for the show, man?
Yeah. Man, all off-season, all I heard, I was in the barbershop. Carson Wentz ain't this. Carson Wentz ain't that.
Talk.
Man, shut the fuck up.
Talk to him.
You wish your quarterback was Carson Wentz.
Wait, whoa, you talking about Voch Lombardi? You just talking about people in general? You talking?
I'm not talking about people. Nah. I'm talking about people and some people in this chat.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Voch Lombardi. Okay, well, carry on. Go ahead.
Nah. Look, everybody all off season. No, Carson Wentz ain't this. He a butt. Man, what Carson Wentz has done in his progression from year 1 to year 2 being an MVP candidate is like, it's ridiculous, and it almost never happens. This man is joining an elite company with Tom Brady, with Aaron Rodgers, with Dan Marino, with the numbers. Got the most touchdowns in the league. Yes, Tom Brady does have more yards. I get it, but it's MVP, most valuable player. If you take Carson Wentz and Tom Brady off both of their teams and put, let's say, like Alex Smith on each team, what team do you think he's going to do better on? The Bill Belichick system or the Doug Peterson system? Yeah. Carson Wentz is so valuable to that Eagles team. That's why he deserves to win. If you take him out, the Eagles are nothing. He is the engine behind our offense, and he's the engine in the locker room too. You talk about the players, they love him, and he is the MVP, and it shouldn't even be close, honestly.
No, let him know. Keep going, man. I'm listening to you. You Jay the Eagle. You Jay the Eagles fan from Arizona. Let him know.
I'm telling you, I'm trying to say, like, I get it. You know, Tom Brady, what he's doing at 40, like, it's phenomenal. And he is the greatest quarterback of all time. No knock. Like, what he's doing is phenomenal. The NFL, it needs, like, new stars in the league. You know, you'll have Dak Prescott, Marcus Mariota, and James Winston. They're still kind of not really living up to the super big spotlight that we thought they were. I think Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, we thought Derek Carr would be that guy, you know, but his team is kind of struggling now. I think you give the MVP to Wentz, you know. I think it kind of shows that you have some new faces and new stars of this league. Mm-hmm. Like, no knock on Tom again. He's still doing what he's doing, but what Carson Wentz brings to this team, and a matter of just, like, and he just had one full offseason and he's doing this. Like, he's going to keep progressing in his career. He needs to get the MVP and, like, got the best record in the league. What do you say? We are winning games because of Carson Wentz. Mm-hmm. You can't say that for a lot of QBs in the league. I'm sorry. You really can't. So that's why he's the most valuable player in the National Football League right now. Serious.
Hey, man,
that's my case.
I really like what you did, but what you was supposed to say if you had swag like that, you was supposed to say, yeah, what Tom Brady's doing at 40 is amazing, but look at what Carson Wentz is doing at 25. That's what you were supposed to say.
Very true.
But you ain't. But you know, you ain't had the juice. But you ain't had the juice like that. So look, let me get I need a notepad. I got my paper and I got my pen. We got one for Carson.
Mm-hmm.
One for Carson Wentz. Jay, the Eagles fan from Arizona, has made this case. Hey, man, I appreciate it. You know, for some reason, people in the chat box think I'm a bitter Cowboys fan, and I understand y'all eating the cheese and y'all, you know, it's fun to do that. It's a narrative to do that, but I'm football fan first. I'm coach second, and then I'm like Cowboys fan third. Or whatever. So like y'all don't bother me. Like losing don't bother me. Like I remember when I was a player once, and like we lost this game somewhere, a bad game, and all the players was mad. We was cussing. We was mad. We was crying. And we looked at coach. And he was just like, "Hey man, it happens. You got to go to work. Got to do this. Got to do that." We like, motherfucker, will you be mad with us? Like, will you fuss and cry? You know what I mean? And when I watch Cowboy games, I watch them from a coach's perspective. So when we lose and they go, fire Jason Garrett, I'm like, well, how about Chaz Green block somebody? Or how about we don't miss tackle? How about we tackle Keenan Allen? You know what I mean? I don't get mad. I just look at things objectively. So if people say, "Yo, Voch been sick behind the Cowboys losing," nah, fam. I'm chilling. I'll watch the film and I'll evaluate it and I'll see what the problem is. But I'm not losing no sleep, man. Salute to y'all.
Yeah, I've heard real quick before I go out. Like I've heard even Eagles fans who do this. Mm-hmm. Like Cowboys, they were missing Tyron Smith, John Lee, Zeke, right? Yeah. I know Eagles like to make the argument we're missing Jason Peters, Darren Sproles, like. The thing that, like, I like a lot of this is where you can give, like, Howie Roseman a little bit more credit for than, let's say, like, Jerry Jones. Like, we have a lot of great depth. Like, what the Cowboys did in the draft where they would draft, like, linemen in the first 2 rounds, build up a beast O-line, and then have, like, those 3rd, 4th-round guys come play the defense. You know, Sean Lee is the anchor of that defense. Like, Jordan Hicks was good for us, but Sean Lee is, like – they look completely different without Sean Lee. And our defense is still balling without Jordan Hicks. Like, we do have the same injuries. We have a better depth, but just, like, the impact of those injuries in the Cowboys is what impacted them more. So even us Eagles fans get that shot with, like, well, we're missing these players too. Yeah, we're missing them players, but they have more impact on Dallas because we have better depth at those positions and stuff like that.
You know, my whole thing is every team has they have an algorithm. You know, that they go by to make things work. And you know, when like when Tom Brady went on his 18-0 situation or whatever, like that team had an algorithm like that. Like if Randy Moss ain't on that team, Tom Brady ain't a 55 touchdown quarterback. He probably a 43 touchdown quarterback. But damn it, it's just something about that extra piece that just set that team off. You know what I mean? Like people like there are Cowboys fans that are saying cut Dak Prescott or whatever and put in Cooper Rush or whatever. Well, when people say Dak ain't as good as I thought, he needs Zeke, that's only speaking to that person's overreaction. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, Dak Prescott is a sophomore quarterback, and if you thought he was the GOAT this early, that's your damn fault. You know, but then of course you're gonna look different when your left tackle's not there. Of course you're gonna look different when your star running back ain't there. You know what I mean? Of course you're gonna look different. But when Dak Prescott out here winning you 13 games in a row, oh, it just works. Oh, everything just nada da and do but da. That's just his formula. You know what I mean?
And yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, the thing is, like, he's having, this is his learning, these are his learning pains, his growing pains right now. Yeah. Last year, what Dak and Zeke did was phenomenal, and, that's history what they did last year. Last year, he wasn't used to seeing, the box was stacked because they were trying to stop Zeke. This year, they're not, when Zeke is out, and he's having growing pains because this is the very first time that the defense is playing towards him, and he's just going through growing pains. This will help him in the future. Next year, he's going to be able to see that and be like, okay, so let's say they don't try to stop the run. Let's say Zeke is out, he just misses one game or whatever. He's going to be able to know the growing pains and watch the film and grow as a quarterback and say, all right, now it is my time. This is just growing pains. Like Carson Wentz did this last year. Jared Goff did this last year. I know Deshaun Watson was phenomenal, but Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston, same thing. Reading the field from college to the NFL, it's so much faster and so much different for a quarterback to just sit back there. He's just having his growing pains right now. I'm telling you, y'all got to calm down with the start Cooper Rush and cut Dak and bring Tony back. Y'all, they real tripping on that.
Part of me wants to keep being a Cowboys fan, but I gotta call it something else. Like, I would rather root for the Jaguars in public because I get along with them better, but I'm still a Cowboys fan at heart. I don't know, man. Jay, the Rational Eagles fan from Arizona. Salute to you, bro. Thanks for calling.
Salute, bro. Salute.
Yes, sir. We got a couple people on the phone list. Adam, I see you on the phone. What I want you to do is I want you to go to Facebook and send me that document you had so I can pull it up on the OBS so we can discuss with further depth because I know you got numbers. But until then, well, I got somebody that's listening that's going to be happy for this phone call. Jake from State Farm, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's good, Voch?
Holding it down for the Doski Woski and the Peasky Whiskey. Dilly Dilly. What you got for the show, man?
Dilly Dilly. For the MVP race, Trubisky, it's a hands down Trubisky. No, I'm just playing. So, so the person that I wanted to suggest, now, I have a fine line between what I think will happen and what I think should happen in terms of the MVP. Who I think will be MVP will be Carson Wentz. But who I think should be MVP is Tom Brady. The thing is a lot of people are going to be looking at this new kid. This is Carson Wentz is exotic. And the guy that the caller, the other Jake from Arizona, he was making solid cases as well. Carson Wentz legitimately has a case for MVP, but people also don't need to sleep on Tom Brady because he's putting up the exact same numbers. And I would say I might even argue that Tom Brady might mean more to that team, the Patriots. Look at that defense. What would this team be without Tom Brady? And he's having a great year himself. And people that's what it's pretty much coming down to. It's a debate between Carson Wentz and Tom Brady. But I think because of what Carson Wentz, and he's like a new face, is what's going to lead him to be the MVP this year.
Yeah, sometimes the MVP can come down to politics sometimes because when you look at these a lot of these basketball situations, like LeBron can win that thing every year, but there's this new guy that's shaking things up, so let's go with the new guy. It's part of it is politics. I do agree. I'm gonna write you down for Brady though, because you feel like it's Brady, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's how I feel deep down. I think it should be Brady, but I think when it comes to the end, I think that everyone's just going to be – because Carson Wentz is exactly what you're saying. It comes down to politics, and Carson Wentz brings new excitement. And, Eagles fans having that title of I got an MVP quarterback, it brings, so much more money into the NFL.
And let me say this. Don't take that as me saying Carson Wentz is garbage and he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying that if you need an edge, go with the new guy. I mean, it's just hard to keep giving it to Brady, but hey, man, Brady's amazing. Brady's amazing. So it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I think exactly. No discredit to Carson Wentz. I think he is the future of the NFL. Like he for me, it's close, exactly second for Carson Wentz, right behind Tom Brady. And I think it's possible Carson Wentz could even make a better case. But if there's plenty of season left, if he starts doing some record-breaking shit, who knows? But as of right now, I think that Tom Brady is making the best case because that team would not be shit without him.
Mm. Hey, man, I agree. Jake from State Farm, thanks for calling, bro.
Salute.
That's one for Tom Brady and one for Carson Wentz. Let me see what else we got. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna give him a young phenom in here. Nick Gashler, what's good, bro?
Not much. What's happening, Voch?
Chilling. We're gonna talk football later. We're gonna talk college football later because I know you gotta.
We're gonna talk college football later, but right now we're talking about the MVP.
That's what my man. So listen, get your MVP point. I'm gonna keep you on the phone. I kind of want you to man the chat box a little bit and tell me if you see anything interesting. Then we got one more caller, and then we got a guest. You know what I mean? Like there's callers, and then there's guests. We got Adam coming in, and Adam has sent me a spreadsheet. I believe I haven't even clicked on the document yet, but it's a PDF file. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. He's going to talk these numbers about his controversial MVP opinion. But go ahead, Nick.
All right. I say Joel Embiid because trust the process. Just kidding. I think I got Wentz. I mean, at this point, like Jake from State Farm said, he's a new kid. He's exciting. Everybody wants to walk and talk like the new kid in town if you get that Eagles reference.
Right.
But Carson Wentz at this point is my MVP because the shit that he's doing with the talent that he had in Philly last year compared to this year, it's been a huge jump. But I think Carson Wentz should win MVP.
Okay. I dig that.
I mean, go ahead.
No. I'm just responding to you because I dig it, because I do think this is a two-man race, and some people will try to paint three more people into the picture, like they'll push Drew Brees in there, and Drew Brees is great, and they'll find a way to shimmy, I don't know, two other guys in there, but it's basically Wentz and Brady. Dan is going to make a point for Matt Ryan at some point tonight, and I think that'll be interesting to listen to.
All right.
Don't throw up in your mouth, Gash. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead and make your point so I can move
Matt
on.
Ryan, on Lombardi's Draft Talk, I did a comparison a couple weeks ago of Wentz and Brady, or former NFL MVP Matt Ryan's stats throughout Week 6, I believe, and they were pretty damn similar. So that's one of the reasons why I think Wentz is going to be the MVP. He had only a couple less, I think like one less touchdown than Matt Ryan, or about 500 yards less passing than Matt Ryan did in that time, and I think he has probably less interceptions than Matt Ryan did. So all those, I think, if you see what Matt Ryan did last year, I mean, he was lighting it up at the beginning of the season. That's kind of what Wentz has been doing, and I think he will stay strong into the postseason and get that MVP award.
True. All right, Nick Gash, I'm gonna keep you on the phone because you're my homie, you the little homie.
Yep.
But we're gonna expedite the hell out of this call. I'm sorry, 407, real quick. Who it is?
Hello.
Yeah, who it is?
Oh, what's good, homie? You know what I'm saying? I think since we're talking about MVPs here, yeah. Yeah.
Who is this?
Who is this?
This Tommy Gunn. You can look me up on my YouTube channel. 13K subscribers, you know what I'm saying? So,
go ahead, plug your stuff. I'm with you. Get your plugs in. Dilly. Go ahead, man.
All right, what's good?
Since
we talking about MVPs, you know what I'm saying? My boy Geno Smith, shout out to the Jets, you know what I'm saying?
All right, shit. I had to go ahead and cut my man's off, but y'all go follow him on Twitter at Tommy Gunn. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
He said 21 Savage 2.0 was his YouTube channel or something.
Whatever you said. Adam, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? I mean, he's got me. Geno Smith, 100%.
I hate I had to prolong your visit for that, but hey, man, sometimes it happens. We got to screen the clients. He's not even a Jet anymore. He's a Giant now. So whatever.
Exactly.
So
I got a kick out of it.
So last week, we were talking about talking about the MVP stuff, and you tagged me to some stuff in Lombardi's Draft Talk. That's my Facebook group, by the way. Go join Lombardi's Draft Talk. And you were like, hey, man, I got these numbers, and, you're the numbers guy around here. And you basically got something you want to share with the congregation. So you sent me a document. I'm going to click OBS, and we're going to pull that thing up, and we're gonna make a case out here. So you can go ahead and get going, and I'll pull that thing up in just a second. So go ahead.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-page document, but so we're talking about MVP today, and if Zeke was still playing, I think he'd probably be in the conversation. I mean, but as we learned last year, if you're not playing, even if it's for 4 games, you're not going to be in consideration. So I think we got to throw that out and give him a passion win, right? I mean, maybe next year, Zeke. Right. But let's get down to the brass tacks here. We got a competition here between 3 players. We've got Drew Brees, we've got Tom Brady, and Carson Wentz. I really agree with Daniel, I believe, from earlier that Carson Wentz is the new shiny toy, and everyone's super stoked. And I'm right there with you too, Voch, that there is an anti-Brady sentiment that circulates about the MVP. You don't want to give it to the same person every year because it seems stale. Right. But I'm here to definitively say that it's going to be that it should be Tom Brady. And it's not even Wentz for second. Brees should be second. So we're going to go through a whole lot of numbers today and really explain why absolutely it's got to be Tom. I mean, the numbers say it, but not only the numbers, but really the situation surrounds them. I mean, it's just like somebody else said earlier, that team would quite possibly not be shit without him. Now, I'm not 100% in agreement with that because it's Bill Belichick. He'll find a way. But without Tom Brady, we're not looking at a plus 500 team. While one of the claims going to make today is that without Wentz, it's possible the Eagles are. They're a really, really good team around them. We got to talk about all these kind of things. So if you got this, you got that document up on there.
Yes, sir. It's pulled up.
I'm going to jump right into these numbers. Okay, so as you guys can see, we have this current production followed by projected production after 16 games. This is going to really show us from a statistical outlay and just really a production standpoint, which is pretty much the best indication of who is the most valuable player, who has done the most to make their team successful in the entire NFL.
Damn.
And it's going to bear out that it's Tom Brady. So let's go through this. So record almost identical. Wentz has an extra win. That's great. That's perfectly fine. He's in a weaker division to a certain extent, at least from a win total, than either the other teams, and so it's expected he's going to have an extra win. But that's cool. That's perfectly fine. I'll give Wentz that. But really, we're going to just jump down to the bottom of this, and we're going to talk about who, before we jump into everything else, Brady wins everything except for 3 categories. And that's going to be Wentz wins, and he has a higher win total, great. He has a higher total pass down rate, great. And he has a higher, and then Drew Brees has a higher completion percentage. But if you take a look at every other major characteristic, may that be pass yards, may that be quarterback rating, which is incredibly important, the touchdown to interception ratio, which we know how important that is because the way that you lose games and the way that you're not valuable to your team, the way that you imperil your team is by having a large number of turnovers. And so considering that Brady only has 2 interceptions to 22 touchdowns versus like a 5-to-1 ratio for Wentz or a 3-to-1 ratio to Brees, this is enormous. That's an 11-to-1 ratio. That's more than double the better ratio that any of these other guys are looking at. That means that when you are trying to figure out who is the single solitary individual that's leading to the contribution that's going to allow your team to win, this is Brady. The ball is firmly in Brady's hands. When the Patriots needed to win when playing the Texans, they didn't go to Deion Lewis. They didn't go to Mike Gillislee. Damn. They went to Tom Brady to make sure that Brandon Cooks can get that ball at the very end of the game. But if you take a look at the comparative success of the teams around Brees and Wentz, it's an entirely different scenario. I mean, we had an article come out today about how Mark Ingram has a stipulation in his contract that says if he is awarded first team All-Pro honors, that he is now a free agent. The fact that we're having that conversation at all lends so much credence to the fact that Drew Brees, albeit a Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the top 5 in the NFL, absolutely, has been leaning on that run game and on that defense immensely to be able to win his games. Okay. And then when you take a look on the flip side at Wentz, they have this phenomenal front 4 in their defense, and they have arguably, and I would argue, the best offensive line in the NFL. This allowed LeGarrette Blount to average more than 5.5 yards a carry. I mean, and Jay Ajayi's there to continue to take this pressure off. But if you take a look at the slew of running backs that are circulating through the Patriots, and about how Gronk's been injured, about how Hogan's been injured, and about how consistently the biggest variable that has contributed to the success over and over and over again is Tom Brady. But now that we have the running back situation out of the way, I want to be able to focus on what does it mean to be a successful quarterback and what does it mean to be the MVP. But let's really quick dive back into these numbers. If you were to take a look at this production after 16 games, it's really easy. You just take the amount of games left, you make a fraction of that, add it to it. It doesn't really matter for the math.
Man, you way smarter than me,
Tom Brady has like 500 yards more than Drew Brees and like almost 1,000 yards more projection than Wentz. It's enormous in pass yards and total yards, not a substantial difference. Their passing touchdowns, not a huge difference. Interceptions, once again, really big. Once again, we're talking about where's the focal point of an offense? Who is the most valuable player? You take him away, what happens to the team?
Zeke.
What happens to the overall production?
Zeke.
And it falls away, and this is why Tom Brady is so important here. Go ahead.
Nah, man. I was just listening to you, man, and at one point you made, what happens if you take this player away, man? As a Cowboys fan, you take away Zeke and the defense, the receivers, the quarterback, the O-line. We all look different now. So I feel you. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you take Drew Brees goes away. You can't. I mean, you then can easily stack the box, and maybe Kamara and Ingram aren't as effective. But their offensive line is still huge. They have these maulers. Ramchek's looking great. I mean, so you're still going to be in a marginally successful situation. One of the statistics that we don't really talk about all that often, and it's like you're all about the output, right? We're like, we want pass yards, we want completion percentage, we want touchdowns, interception. Well, really, it's like I kind of think about yards per attempt, right? Like how effective are you on a per play basis? And a lot of people say, especially in the scouting community, say that this is perhaps the most important statistic, a pure statistic for a quarterback, because it's showing how explosive are you and how much of the offense is tied to you on a per play basis. And are you being able to take control of the entire game by your own play? And so when you take a look at the yards per attempt statistic that's on the screen right now, Brady has Brees by a whole point. I mean, that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you take it into percentage cases, that's more than a 10% difference. It's probably more than 15. I mean, it's right around a 15% difference. And so when you take a look at it versus Wentz, that's almost a third better. And so in this most important of all characteristics that measures per play output, Brady isn't just better; he's substantially better. I mean, and it's not even a question between Wentz. A lot of these kind of conversations do actually kind of blur the lines between Brees and Brady. We're going to talk about offensive line production here in a second. But really, given how many times Brady's been sacked, which is double the times that Brees has been sacked, by the way, he's still finding a way to outproduce Brees on every single level. May that be quarterback rating, which is on the screen, interceptions, or touchdowns, which is on the screen as well. Really, everything that you would want to have a question about, what does it mean to be a successful quarterback? Considering we all know that Brady's not holding onto the ball and running around the field like Andrew Luck or Carson Wentz. Like, we know that his offensive line is failing him. And he's still finding a way to be able to produce day in and day out. But let's talking about sacks, talking about the offensive line productivity, because we all know that football is the ultimate team sport. But we have to really take into consideration, if this person is the most valuable player in the league, does he lean on his other people? And if he has to lean on his other people, of course he's going to. We're not going to shoot them in the foot for doing that. That's great. That's part of being a team sport. But I think when we're talking about the most valuable player, we have to recognize this is the person who raises the production of everyone above him to make the team look more palatable, to make the team look better in general. So let's take a look at the overall production of the offensive line according to Pro Football Focus, which is my go-to statistics organization for how people are producing. So you take a look at I'm just going to run up some points here. This isn't on the document. I just pulled these up. But this is just three numbers, pretty easy to compare. So the accumulated production of the Saints, 324, accumulated production of the Eagles, 388, and accumulated production of the Patriots, 336. That's just basically their grading, their grades, how good they're playing. And so the Saints, they're not playing that much better, but Drew Brees isn't getting sacked. Patriots playing pretty good rush, actually doing really well on the rush front, doing really poorly in the pass front, puts more on Tom Brady, and then the Eagles' offensive line is just killing it. I mean, they're like 40, 50 points above these guys, 64 points actually above the Saints. And so once again, we're like, okay, if you take away the center, if you take away like Kelsey, you're taking away any of these guys, how much of production is going to suffer? And Jason Peters leaving did actually have some kind of impact into Carson Wentz's performance, not as much as it would because he still has 3 or 4 other substantial players playing there. So once we jump back into this, we recognize Tom Brady is playing with a depleted cast protecting him. He's been sacked 23 times, but he's still finding a way to produce more than Drew Brees is and more than Carson Wentz is. So I got one more argument left, and then that's gonna close me out for the day. So it's really the remaining schedule statistics. This is on the second page of the PDF, and it's really who has the easiest schedule, who's most likely to fail, and if they rise to the occasion and outperform their schedule or go along with it, who really deserves the MVP in this last third of the game. So let's go talk about this. According to the schedule difficulty on the second page, I basically just got this by accumulating wins, however, how difficult the defense is in pass and rush, how many points they allow. And so it's very clear the Eagles have the easiest schedule, followed by the Patriots, followed by the Saints. If Drew Brees outperforms and just like wins every great game down the stretch and kills it, he deserves to be MVP probably. I mean, he'll be, well, at that point he'll probably have caught up to Brady's production. He'll still be more accurate than Brady, and he'll have beaten better teams. So I think that's a real question to have here. But on the flip side, Wentz has the easiest schedule ahead of him. If he continues to slay and his production increases because he's playing against a slew of easier teams with bad defenses, then he's most likely to succeed. But considering the numbers that are on the screen, the Patriots have the second and have the middle schedule. It's not easy, but it's not terribly difficult. They play the Bills, but they do also have to play the Steelers, and they're playing lights out defense. So if they go on to play the same they've been playing this entire time, which we have no reason to believe that they won't, especially with Gronk coming back, then we have a clear and present answer here. We expect Tom Brady to continue to produce. We expect Tom Brady to continue to be the focal point of the offense. We expect Tom Brady to be the same GOAT, efficient beast that he always is. And that's the reason why Tom Brady deserves to be the MVP, and that's why he should be the MVP. He's not shiny. People hate him because he's Tom Brady. But with everything in front of him, with everything he's done, and with everything he continues to do with the people around him, there is no other answer here. It's Tom Brady. It should be Tom Brady. It'll always be Tom Brady as long as he continues to play like this. And that's why it's got to be Tom Brady.
Man, thank you so much man. Look, plug your stuff, man. Tell them where to find you. The podcast, the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Snapchat, the Tinder, all that. Tell them where to find you.
So the podcast is a little bit on hold at the moment, but you guys can find me at I'm just Adam Hall, ADAMHALL at RotoBaller, or at Fantasy at Football Diehards. I also write for. So I do a weekly column for each of these guys about fantasy football and expanding that a little bit. But yeah, you guys can always hit me up on through there or at Twitter. I think that it's the Fantasy Metrics Football. I think that's our ad is Fantasy Metrics Football. So feel free to get in touch. Well, I'm always happy to talk football. But thanks so much for having me on, Voch. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for calling. Dilly. Dilly.
Take it easy.
My man. I always learn something new, man. Every time. Nick, you there? Hello, Nick?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. I learn something new every time Adam touched the phone, man. I was just looking at these numbers. We're going to go back to the chat box in a little bit. But, man, Drew Brees got more rushing touchdowns than Carson Wentz? What? Come on, man. Oh, man, Jay, the Eagles fan from Arizona, call. Bust back. Somebody hit me on Snapchat. All right, hold on.
Y'all.
Go ahead, Nick.
Y'all, people hating on Adam in the chat. When Adam calls in, it's his show, man. Y'all just can't do anything about it. It's a new Voch Lombardi tradition.
Look, man, Nick, look, people have guests and people got callers, you know what I mean? I got all the callers out the way. I was like, hey, you a caller? Hold on. You a caller? All right. So when Adam get on the phone, we gonna let him work, man. Like, like there's an audience for there's an audience for what he does. Like there are plenty numbers guys. And look, man, most numbers guys use their powers for evil because they piss me off with their numbers and shit. But Adam is he's really good crunching these damn numbers, man. And me being film guy is always interesting taking something from him. So maybe me and Adam can do some joint work where he'll look into some number, explore some type of stat or something like that, and I go break down the film to justify it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Somebody just asked, what does dilly dilly mean in the chat box? It's kind of hard to explain.
Send your ass to the pit of misery. Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
All right, let's see. Who we got on the phones, man? The phones. All right, cool. So the phones are empty. So let me go to my phone real quick and pull this guy's Snapchat in, and then we can make a turn and talk about some college ball, and we'll put all that stuff together. So I love to see. I love to see. Go ahead. My bad. Pardon me. Sorry. What was that?
If anyone want to call in about college ball, please feel free.
Yeah. Feel free.
I don't want to be the only person talking about it.
That's what Nick's here for. We got a Snapchat from Tristan. Let me see what he's talking about.
I'm not gonna lie, I was about to call in, but then Adam just took the words right out of my mouth. Like, nice job. I agree with him 100%. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, he had it on the loop. So Adam, yeah, man, Tristan basically saying, I feel you. He, you took the words out of his mouth. He feels like Brady, and what Brady does, it's on par for amazement. Lieutenant Dan, you can call in whenever you're ready, fam. We'll go ahead and patch you through. Nick, tell us about college football today. Well, hold on, time out. We got a caller, and the number looks familiar. Now, my man's, don't make me block you, because I'll put you on that same list Will on, because Will used to call in and troll us, and we never heard of Will again. So 407.
Yeah, man. I'm not a troller. I kind of feel kind of disrespected, because I was serious about Smith, and my heart is kind of broken.
Okay, that's strike one. Go ahead.
Who's the big baller on the phone?
No. Go ahead. I'm giving you your fair shake. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. The reason why I think Geno Smith should be in the free ticket to the MVP is because
That's strike two. I need you to.
What?
I need you. You really think Geno Smith should be in the MVP race?
Yeah. 100%. Because can I talk, please? I'm serious.
Go ahead.
All right. The reason why I think Geno Smith, because you haven't seen nobody good at scrambling as Geno Smith since RG3, you know what I'm saying? Since his rookie year. And he's so good at finding the man when he's backed up in the pocket, you know what I'm saying? You get scared when you pass because you think it's a pistol going off. You feel me?
Right. So should I just go ahead and put your number in the do not answer box? Like, what you want to do?
Nah, bro, because, you know what? You broke my heart because I'm serious, and you think I'm playing around.
All right, so we got Lieutenant Dan calling in. What's up, Dan?
Geno Smith
in the world?
Hang on. Geno Smith the MVP because he has to sit behind all of Eli Manning's bullshit.
What is this? What have I walked into?
That boy say Geno got to scramble, and people can't see that coming. They don't know what's coming next. Both you sit your ass.
You know who it is. It's your boy, Lieutenant Dan. He's here. He's ready to answer those questions. He's ready to lay down the smack.
What's happening, Dan? Dilly.
First, Dilly.
Who you got? Man, that was so disturbing, fam. Who you got winning the MVP or that's in the lead?
Did he really throw you off your game, man? Are you really that thrown off by the Geno Smith thing?
I don't understand.
You okay?
Like, I don't. Should Dan, like you're a fellow YouTuber podcaster, and have you ever been in a situation where you're doing a show like, he doesn't mean bad, but like, should I block this person? You know what I'm saying? You've been in that situation before.
I mean,
should I block this person?
That's up to you, man.
I think
your show, dude.
I think I found his name in the chat box. It starts with a J. He asked me, can he call back? So I'll probably just block him on everything. So just
Oof.
I gave him a couple chances.
You see, guys, see what happens when you call in. You start talking about Geno Smith and Mark Sanchez and all those other good things. Yeah, you get blocked, bro. You just know it, man. Just know it. Own up to it.
It is what it is, man. But you got Matt Ryan. Somebody asked me,
who put those words in your mouth, and who are putting those words in my mouth? Was that Nick? Nick, go sit down. Put your head back down again. Goodness grief.
Hey, man. Hey, time out. Let me say this. I'm trying to get Chills of the Adonis on my show, man. So at some point, I think that dude's hysterical, man. At some point, I'll try to get that dude on my show, man. Like for real.
Put your head back down again. You couldn't kick a kick in your life.
Put your motherfucking head back down. My bad, Lieutenant Dan. Who you got winning the MVP, brother?
This is a really close race, dude, and I really liked Adam going through all the stats and the numbers. I was being harsh in the chat, but he really needs to have his own YouTube channel, man. The couple times that he's come on here, he needs to have his own place. People will flock to that. The statistic nuts will come to it.
There are, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
But no, seriously, it's a 3-man race right now. I mean, I guess you could say that Antonio Brown probably has an outsider's chance if there's some flub ups by these QBs going down the line. But the body of work that these guys have done over these first 9, 10, 11 weeks now, it's going to be hard to argue anyone else. It really is. It's going to be hard to argue anybody else.
Yeah.
I feel like Brady is the lock. Everybody's going to lock Brady in.
Pretty much.
Wentz is a great pick. I think that the old white men are going to pick him because he's the favorite in all their eyes.
Right.
And there will be some people that will try to say Drew Brees' name. And I think Drew Brees has statistically put up some numbers that are surprising. But, hey, man, those are your 3 guys right now. I hate that the MVP comes down to quarterbacks, man. It really only comes down to quarterbacks ever. And there are so many players busting their butts out there on defense.
Sure.
And on the offensive line and stuff like that. They never get any credit whatsoever. They get these little side awards. Why can't we talk about the hog mollies and the big men that do the work down in the trenches and get them an MVP, man? Like, seriously, what's going on?
Hey, man, it doesn't work like that. And I tell you what,
I know.
Offensive linemen have we've all come to this inner peace that that we're not gonna get the respect that we deserve as offensive linemen, but we just fight anyway, man. We just those front line cats. We fight to protect our country,
Terrible. Linemen have lives too, Their lives matter, man. Come on. They protect you when you're throwing that ball.
Why y'all making this about race, Big Meech? Big Meech, like, I almost blocked you, fam, because you was being real annoying. Like, I don't mind anybody liking the Eagles or hating the Cowboys. Like, I like Cowboy slander. It's fun. It's productive. It's part of my job. I like to argue, but annoying bothers me. Stop doing that. But
you just don't have time for BS, man. You just don't have time.
Look, I will get within any type of creative discussion with anybody. Like, even when fam called in with Geno Smith, I gave him a shot. I gave him 3 strikes. The gun's right here. I gave him 3 strikes. But he didn't use good strike etiquette, man. So I got him out of here. So, just
Apparently that was his brother, by the way. I don't know what he's smoking, but
yeah, it was some other shit, man. Big Meech, I ain't got a problem with you, fam, but you Whatever.
Something.
Whatever, man.
How close are we to transitioning to the college talk? Because I had something.
Go ahead, Clemson. Do your thing.
Go off
Hell yeah, Alabama lost. That's right. What's up, dilly? It's about time somebody comes on their schedule, smacks them in the mouth, a good one, and then they sit down and they hang their heads like good little boys because they didn't play anybody all year, anyone at all. And then they get to this point, and Auburn's a big boy with big boy pants comes in with their boxing glove, boom, 1-2, bam, bam.
Well,
put them right down to the ground.
Well, Daniel, I'm sorry I can't co-sign your dilly because I'm a huge Nick Saban fan. But it was
I
interesting.
love what Nick Saban does, and he was out there cussing, hooting, and hollering at his quarterback who was making boneheaded plays, and his players who were making boneheaded decisions. And his
with my phones, man. What the hell?
Mm-hmm. What's up with you? You got problems? You got issues, man?
I don't know, man.
Live stream offline. Hey, it's back.
Live stream. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. See, man, I can't wait till I'm like, rich and, I can get the super best internet or whatever. I can't wait till I get that big ass package that I just walk clean past.
Net neutrality, bro. Net neutrality.
Fair enough, man. But go ahead and finish saying what you were saying, bro.
Nah, I was just saying that Nick is completely correct. When you're talking about the big time hoot and hollering, just listen to what Nick's saying right now. So finish up, Nick.
And y'all gotta watch out for this slippery little back named Kerryon Johnson. Looks like Marlon Mack out there.
That's true.
Who is that? That's the Auburn kid or something?
Yeah.
Auburn
running back.
Yeah. So I know I said I was gonna start watching film in January, and to be fair, it's almost December. But college football is getting kind of interesting, and I might start sooner than that. Because I really feel like I need to know who the hell these guys are moving forward, and film is fun.
Go ahead.
Film is fun, and and sometimes games are better when you know who the hell people are when you go into them. Because I don't know no damn body. And I guess it's that time of year where people expect me to know at least 10 people. I don't know, but like 4 people. So I'll be jumping into college film soon. So just letting y'all know. I'm just making you aware of that.
Good thing it's a weekend night, so you can binge on all of Nick Goschler's college football videos.
I would.
Shameless plug.
I would do that. Man, that's the second damn plug. You know what? Like, what did dude plugged his channel? What did he say his channel was? So I can go see what his stuff was. What was it? Tommy Gun Johnson or something?
21 Savage 2.0.
Tommy Gun Jefferson or some shit. I don't know.
This is gonna turn into one of those shows, isn't it? Hey, look, I was saying this about the college football playoffs and towards the end of the season, and I'm saying the same exact sermon about the NFL playoffs right now. There are some teams that, and I was saying this early in the season too. There are some teams that had not played real competition, played people that wanted it more than anybody else, and they were undefeated or they had a high record. And they're going to meet some teams down the road that want it more. You're going to pop them in the mouth, put them on the floor, spit on them, take their mail, open it up, and take their checks. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that this group of so-called winners haven't found anybody that's at their level yet. And once they find people that are at their level, like Alabama found with Auburn, they're going to get punched in the mouth. They have to figure out whether or not they can get up or not. That's the same thing with TCU and Oklahoma coming up in the what is that? The Big 10? Well, no, the 12. Big 12. Big 12 conference game. TCU, hey, just watch out. They might punch them in the face if Oklahoma lies down. You just be careful. That's the same thing I'm saying about the Clemson game. Clemson-Miami. Yeah, Miami got beat by Pitt. But Miami might be out for blood. They might pop Clemson right in the mouth. So I'm just saying, hey, just don't play down to your opponents, man. Just don't play down. Don't laugh. Don't scoff at anybody. And I think some of these teams have not played anyone, and they're going to get popped in the mouth.
That's a good way to.
That's where I'm sitting.
That's a good way to get shot, fam. Go around doing that shit, man. Go in my mailbox and taking my check and da. Man, I kill somebody for taking my goddamn money, man. What's wrong with these people?
Hey, man, when a guy comes up and says he was going to pop you in the mouth in the first place, he said, "Nah, man, I'm bigger than you." Then he comes around, pops you in the mouth, then pulls out the Beretta too. Hey, just okay. Here's the check, man. Just take it, go away.
Nah, I'm good.
I wasn't prepared. I talk big shit.
So Dan, and I don't know if you can hear me too well, but other than Clemson, who's your national championship favorite?
Man, I really like Oklahoma. Both sides of the ball, they have playmakers on both sides of the ball. They got some athletes on that team. I love teams with athletes. I like teams with that have on both sides of the ball just ATHs all over the field. Mm-hmm. I love teams that come out there and they're fast and they run you over and they stomp on you and then use you as a rug or a doormat and sweep their feet and then go off. I love teams that come out there and play just. You're like, wow, all of these guys look like they're wide receivers, and they're so fast.
Man,
I love teams like that.
Whoever that number 5 is, he's good. I like him. He's fast. He's good. I was watching some Baker Mayfield tape. I think against Oklahoma State, and I remember I tagged you and Voch Lombardi and Shreyas in this post saying the Baker Mayfield's bust. I'll defend that opinion a little bit later, but the dude that popped out on me when I was watching that was number 5 on offense. He was good.
I want to throw something out at you, Nick, and I saw a couple people like trying to compare Baker Mayfield to Johnny Manziel. I think that's complete, bull hockey.
It's bullshit, yeah.
What do you think about this? And Voch, if you're listening, what do you think about this?
I watched Dragon Ball Super.
Baker Mayfield, Phillip Rivers. A better Phillip Rivers, a more agile Phillip Rivers.
And that's not a comparison. If he's a better, more agile Phillip Rivers, that's not Phillip Rivers.
Man, I love that shit, Nick. Damn it, Nick, I love that, man. I love that. Talk to him.
I'm just saying they look similar. They look similar. Now, I just Baker Mayfield's more athletic. I think that's his style, what he plays to. But I feel like he's got that don't give a shit attitude, come out there, will be calm when he needs to be, talk shit when he needs to talk shit, and he can throw all the balls just like Phillip can throw all the balls. Now, Phillip is older, but the younger Phillip Rivers is the one I'm talking about, the one that was a gunslinger, to talk shit to you after he threw a touchdown. Phillip Rivers was no joke back in the day. Nowadays, he's more like the old granddad that's on the lawn that's like, get off my lawn, and brings out the shotgun, but no, that is what it is right now.
Again, I think he's more Russell Wilson than anybody else. I mean, the shit that he does, getting out of that pocket, running around against the pressure, it's insane. But the one thing, and I don't want to get to Kevin Costner in that Draft Day movie, but the thing I saw about him, and this is my main reason why I have questions about Baker Mayfield, is I just looked at a bunch of plays, and this is my big opinion. Baker Mayfield, when he gets pressured, there was one play where he got pressured off the edge. He didn't even get hit. He just had pressure within a foot of him before he threw the ball. It was a pretty good ball, just a tight end couldn't catch it. But then the very next play, he was frantic. He was ready to get the ball out of hand the second it was snapped. That, for me, is a red flag.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why he's just not in my top 5 right now. I think he's a baller, he's a playmaker, and he can do a lot. But I just feel like he's not top 5 yet. But it depends on the team that takes him. I mean,
I don't.
If he goes to the Cards, or if he goes to if he goes to the Jaguars.
Did y'all see Goku when damn Kefla shot that thing at him and he was loading up that Kamehameha? He was an Ultra Instinct and he flipped over the damn thing and X-gamed and grinded down it and shot that broad in the face. Did you see that?
That's called fan service, Voch. You don't fall for that kind of nonsense. You criticize it.
Fam, you ain't see the move, Dan, when he used the energy and rolled up her energy and flipped over sideways and shot her in the face. Come on, dog.
Yeah, he does a front somersault, slides on her laser, and shoots her in the face with a laser.
Dan, I'm about to send you to the pit of misery, Dan. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Hey man, y'all got something, because I'm about to wrap this thing up because Dragon Ball I'm trying to
getting back to the Mayfield thing, I don't question his ability to perform physically. I question his ability to perform mentally, and that means his maturity levels. As much as people have been apologizing about that, I'm sure some team is going to find out that he's not the most mature person in the world. His antics against Kansas, were insane. I mean, I don't care if they don't shake your hands. You go out and you quietly put up 50 points on them, and you don't give two damns after the game. You don't go grabbing your junk saying, fuck you.
I will say, I like the grabbing your junk saying, fuck you. I love that. And this is my thing, too. Right, I feel like all quarterbacks can't be the same dude, because I used to be a wrestling fan, and if all 32 quarterbacks had 32 different personalities, that would be amazing for the league, and the league will probably tune in more. But everybody thinks that PC is the way to go. But Brett Favre was so dope because he was Brett Favre, like Johnny Unitas. Well, not Johnny, Joe Namath. Joe Namath was a personality, and it was fun to see how that was, man. Can you imagine quarterback beef? Can you imagine quarterback beef? Like if two quarterbacks didn't like each other and they just showed up and played the game again, that'll be dope, man. Like
Russ and KD.
Like Russ and KD, like we like there aren't any real true rivalries or whatever, because I don't think these guys really let their bad attitude show. Now Brady, when he has a bad attitude, we kind of see it, and Phillip Rivers done ran up on people in the middle of fights before. You know, Jameis has an interesting personality. Cam is swaggy guy, but like I was telling somebody, man, like the quarterback for Memphis. Like we need a white tatted quarterback. You know what I mean? Like we need somebody like Baker Mayfield that's a gangster with an attitude, man. I embrace all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I said this last time on the show. Baker Mayfield is everything we wanted Johnny Manziel to be.
Man, Johnny Manziel could have been dope for the league, bruh.
He could have been dope, but he fucked it all up because he made some bad life decisions. Baker's not going to let that happen in my mind.
Can you imagine?
I think he will.
Can you imagine?
Baker doesn't do the decisions when people come out and say, "Hey, you're going overboard." Baker comes right out and does exactly what he's told. He's quiet. He comes out and just kicks people's asses and puts them on the street. He is nowhere near Johnny Manziel, and to think that he could mature, go to a team that wants to have him sit for a year or two, come out, be the franchise guy, and then go out and act like he is acting in college, but at the NFL level, but more composed, more mature, and just going out there and dancing on the field, doing airplanes and running around doing wavy circles after he throws a 90-yard bomb. Hell yes, this league needs that. They need more. They need more peeps that are going to go out there and do some real shit, versus old white men sitting back in their chairs causing drama.
Can you imagine if we had a football Conor McGregor type of dude? Can you imagine?
That's Baker Mayfield.
For somebody to just sit up at press conferences. So what do you think about the Saints defense? I mean, Lattimore hurt, so they should be garbage this week. So I mean, I really plan on eating that up. I really plan on eating that shit up. Like that'll be dope, man. Look, fam, you know how refreshing Marshawn Lynch is? And Marshawn Lynch ain't that much different than the rest of these cats. He just don't hide it, right? If we had, if people were just themselves and didn't just give the cookie cutter answer, like, look, dog, we should have like promos and press conferences that like live streaming from the like WWE promos. Let me tell you something, brother. If Baker Mayfield thinks he's going to walk into Gillette Stadium and, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need that, man. Yeah. But that's a dream, though, fam.
Hold up. So y'all know this USF quarterback, Quentin Flowers? Or Dan, do you know this USF quarterback, Quentin Flowers?
Hell no.
Yes, I do.
I don't know nobody.
Some dude just said he's QB1.
Hey,
Out. He's got potential, but he's not gonna pan out in the NFL.
With that throwing motion?
I mean, he can fix the throwing motion. That's another story for another time. But I'm just saying that if you're trying to put him at QB1, that's ridiculous. Go look at Lamar. Go look at Baker. Go look at Darnold. Go look at
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, Josh. Look at.
Did you see the fight Lamar Jackson got into today?
Put down weak ass punches. Yes.
Come on, fam. Come on, Lamar.
And cool ass straight keeps coming in here and being like, "Well, he's the only one that got to a fight today." Just saying. I'm just like, okay.
Oh yeah, because
that's awesome, dude.
Benched.
Man, fam, we need personality in the national. I think that's partially why the ratings have gone down a little bit. Like there are no John Randalls on defense. There are no Ray Lewises. I mean, Jalen Ramsey's interesting, and we keep tabs on him, and we listen to his interviews to see if he sounds sassy. Richard Sherman is pretty. He's pretty polarizing. That whole Legion thing.
Richard Sherman has gotten to the point where he's just a joke.
He's like 31 now, though.
Yeah, he is.
He's a young man.
He's kind of a joke.
It's a young man's game, man. So I sincerely feel like we need more people that's gonna walk in and really hit people upside the head, though. But listen, man, that been my time. I'm Voch Lombardi. Listen,
hang on.
Gashler, plug your. Oh, you had a point?
Yeah, I had one more point.
Okay.
Kind of like what you're saying about with the NFL personalities. Look at the NBA and how good that's been doing. With the suck my dick Celtics from Kyrie Irving. With the Joel Embiid calling out Draymond Green and Kevin Durant on Twitter. My bad.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Keep going.
With LeVar Ball making his dumbass statements.
Right.
With Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook's feud. All these big personalities in the NBA are contributing to how well they are doing right now. But either way, this is Nick Dashler. My YouTube channel is Nick Dashler. I'll just drop a comment. You can say go to channel. And my link why do I always say that GDAofficial.com. That's all you need. I'll drop that link in the comments too. All right.
Yeah, man.
Dan, I am Lieutenant Dan. You can go see me on Unintentional Grounding on YouTube. We do our shows every Tuesday and Friday, and we throw out Falcons film breakdowns as well as live shows about life and chilling. And you can also find me on Twitter at UNGR_show if you ever want to go hang and talk to me on there. Thank you, guys.
And I'm about to watch Dragon Ball Super. Then after that, watch somebody play Players Unknown's Battlegrounds. Listen, man, it's Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook group Lombardi's Draft Talk, Snapchat if you want to. Drop $1 in the Patreon, man. You'll never know it's going. It means the world to me. And drop a like on this. Somebody left the meeting. Okay, that's one of y'all. Drop a like on this video too, man. Likes are free. It costs y'all nothing. Click this button, like, and that's another thing that means the world to me. You know what I'm saying? So y'all hold it down for the Doski, Woski, and the Peasky Whiskey. I'm gone. Dilly dilly.
Joel Embiid for MVP.